Shalom Aleichem, Mr. Roy.
Shalom Aleichem, Mr. SAMET.
This is going to be very chill. Just going to have a conversation. I'm going to share with people your journey and how we've had a journey together off the court and obviously on the court. But let us begin by sharing a brief introduction about Roy Itcovichi. Now, Roy's going to share his journey about his childhood and his religious growth off the court, obviously. Maybe he'll share some stuff on the court as well. But he's mostly going to talk about his Jewish experience so far in his life. But something short to start off. I remember I first met you on a bus. Freshman orientation in YU. I get on the bus. I think I was wearing black pants, a white shirt, a jacket. I see some guy with an afro sitting in the front, and some guy came over to me and said, "Yo, that guy with the afro, he's on the team." And okay, I looked at you. I looked at one other guy you were sitting next to. Who was the other guy you were sitting with?
I honestly don't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But we had a sick time. We got to the camp where we had the freshman orientation, barbecue, sports.
Yeah.
I remember playing football. We were playing all kinds of sports.
Yeah.
It was raining. It was cool. I remember I came over to you on the bus. On the way back, I had a sefer in my hand. I had the Mishnah Berurah, which teaches us the laws and the halachos of what we should do. And I remember opening it up and, due to me not knowing so much Hebrew, and you're an Israeli, I was like, "Mr. Roy, I'm trying to learn these words. Please, can you help me with some of the words?" And we were learning about Modani, about Anatilas Yadayim. And I remember you helped me with words, and you were helping me translate. Now, I don't know what was going through your mind, as you'll share in a second. But right before what was going through your mind, I said, "Let me shoot a long shot." And I said, "Roy, why don't you try this? We'll put Modani by your bed, and you should try Anatilas Yadayim." Now, I thought you might hate me. You might think, "Who's this religious Jew?" You haven't really seen me play basketball yet. Why would I listen to this guy? And Baruch Hashem, you agreed and you wanted to do it, and that's how the journey really started. So I guess bring us back all the way to your childhood, from when you were a kid till about you got to YU. What can you say is your Jewish background? What did you do? What didn't you do? What religious practices did you do? Which religious practices did you not do? Which did you know about? And what changed when you came to YU first? You may begin.
So I'll tell a little bit about my childhood. And so my childhood, I was more spiritual than I want to say. I would always in bad moments or in any situations, I would let's say when we drive back home from in the car, I would talk to God or just randomly in my head in any situation that would happen, or if I'm just have a quiet moment, that's what I would do. That's the only thing I knew, and that's how I was always this way. Whenever bad things happen, that's what I usually would go to. And that's pretty much it. I did celebrate holidays, obviously. I did not fast on Yom Kippur, but that's pretty much it. It's pretty much my old religious identity back then.
You did have a bar mitzvah.
Yes, of course.
Did you lane from the Torah? Or
Yes, I do not remember it at all. I had a very, very short paragraph.
Okay. Anything counts. Anything counts.
Yeah.
And when you got to high school,
Yeah.
maybe bring us through what your high school was. Where was it? And were you able to continue the talking to God and the spiritualness even at a school like where you went to?
So first, I left Israel when I was 15 to play high school basketball, and I went to Christian schools and Catholic school. And throughout my journey in these schools, the people always respected me being Jewish and them being different than me. And I was really very far from being Jewish when I was there, because I was with all these people. I wasn't with any Jews. I was far from family, so I didn't really have anything that helped me keep my Jewish identity. And pretty much I was doing the same thing, just being spiritual, speaking to God, but that was it. That was it.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you think changed when you first came to YU, especially on freshman orientation, where a guy who looked more religious than you, like me, came over to you and said, more than just help me with the words, because that's something easy for you to do. You're an Israeli. But then when I told you to first do it, what was going through your mind? Why did you want to do it? What went through your mind is maybe I should do this, because I feel like if I went to other people, they might have been like, I'm not interested.
So what really came into my mind is when you told me that, I was like, maybe this guy needs help. to understand.
Thank
But
you.
I understood at the end that he was just trying to hook me like he did. And I was like, why not? Let me try it, see if I like it. And I've been doing it ever since, and I really enjoy it. And I think it's something practical, and it's very easy to do.
You want to walk us through the process of how to wash on
The
Tilas Yadayim?
process?
Let's go.
Okay, so you gotta open the faucet, then hold the cup in your right hand, fill it up all the way till it's overflowing,
Why?
because it's supposed to be good for parnasa.
Let's go.
And what other
It's also,
other
it's good.
benefits?
It's good.
It's just good.
Patience. It works on
Patience,
patience.
yes, patience. And then you're supposed to switch to your left hand, and then you're supposed to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Sure, koich.
Yeah,
Boy, Mr. Good.
till the cup
Very
is
good. Very
empty.
good. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let's say when you first got to YU, what do you think surprised you in terms of the culture shock a little bit? As you knew you were Jewish and now you came to a Jewish school, but now you had to sit in Jewish classes for 3 hours a day in the morning. What do you think first was your initial reaction when you first got here in terms of that? In terms of you came to YU, what was your thoughts, initial thoughts coming in, and what shocked you, whether on the court and also in terms of your Jewish classes that you had to take?
So you know what? Actually, I'll go back with that answer to my first conversation when I was talking to Coach first time, and he was telling me that like you have to do this Jewish class 3 hours a day, and I was like talking to my host family, and I was like, yo, I don't know if I could do this. Like I'm not really looking forward for this. And then I don't know what changed, but I was like, you know what? How bad can it be? I was like, how bad can it be? I do miss being more connected into my Judaism and being with other Jews. So I was like, how bad can it be? And I really enjoyed it ever since. It's like I've been learning so many things that I had no clue, even when I was in Israel. Like I had no clue in all, like with all these things that I've learned from JSS and from the other students. And what also surprised me is how welcoming everyone is, and they're not looking at you any different because you are less religious or you dress different or you look different. I used to wear earrings. No one said anything to me.
But
they were always,
me.
but this guy. They were always joking with me, but I never, they never like dissed me or, or bullied or anything like that. They really accepted anyone.
So I guess quickly to share that story about the earrings, I remember Roy came in every single day. You came in every day with earrings. And obviously, I never really said anything to you because I never wanted to put pressure on you. And at the end of the day, you're a Jew. You're a Jew. I respect you for who you are.
Yeah.
But I remember like after the end of the first year, towards like the middle of the second year of us being in YU's, we came at the same time. I remember me saying to you, like, Roy, like, eventually those gotta go. As
Those
jokes,
gotta go, yeah.
definitely as jokes. But one day I remember championship game, you came to me in the locker room and you said, Zevi, I'm done with my earrings and I'm done. And I asked you for that moment to have it, and actually now I have them, but not to wear, but as a souvenir. But I'm very proud. It was a big moment in your growth of that. You came to me, you said, I just don't think I'm that guy anymore.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe you. I was like, what's wrong with you? But it seemed like, you were happy about that and you were confident. I obviously put no pressure on that. Quickly also, I know when you come into the base medrash, as we'll share soon about how all that developed and the learning that we do, but when you come to the base medrash, you have a lot of guys that might look a lot more religious than you, and yet they all show respect for you and they all love you and they show you like you're a Jew just like us, like there's no difference. And that's something really special that I definitely saw, and I know something that made an impact on you, that you looked at these firm religious Jews and they're like, they're not that different, and they're not, hating me for looking the way I am. How do you think what do you think, I guess, how has it been to be able to balance basketball and the Jewish classes and all the other Judaism stuff that you're doing, and in addition to basketball and games and practices, and how has that shaped you as a person?
I think it's been great. I think it's been like, it's been a lot of pressure, on each side, but I think it's been great because it helped me, I think, mentally, be tougher mentally, to be ready for games and whatever that might be, because I think Judaism really helps you be connected spiritually, and then really help you like be tougher mentally. Like I'll give you an example. I think we speak about it a lot of the times, that bad things happen, then we have to always think about it as it is actually good that it happens. So whatever I have a bad game or I have a bad stretch of minutes, whatever wherever that might be, I always think in my head I can turn it up, or maybe it's a reason I have to. It has to be this way, and it's all like part of the journey. So it really helped me be tougher mentally and stronger because I know it's all part of the journey, and I have to do that for reasons. It's meant to be this way.
100%. I think on a deeper level, and like the Torah thought, is that we learned about all the time, is that how Kol B'dei Shemayim, that everything is from God.
Yes.
So when you have good games and you play a lot, we always talk about who's that from. Obviously, you do your stylist and you put in your work, but we
Yeah.
understand it's from Hashem. At the same time, the times where you started off the bench and started times where you didn't get as many minutes or didn't score as many points, we spoke about that doesn't change. And now that the nature is you're just
Yeah.
not playing, you understood that Hashem was sending you messages. And you're going to work your way up and you're going to try your best, but you believed in Hashem in those moments too, which is extremely
Yeah.
special. And I think even deeper than that, we learned also that like every challenge that Hashem sends, every nisayon that Hashem sends to each person is signs to help them in their own avodas
Yeah.
Hashem, and at the same time in their own growth as a person. And I've definitely seen a lot of that. You took signs that God gave you and you said, how can I use this to become a better person? Which is really special. What do you think your most challenging what is the most challenging part for you about being in YU?
I would say that it's just balancing everything because we have so much to deal with, like the classes, and then we have the secular classes, and then we have basketball in the morning. It's just everything in one day. It's like very, very packed, but it also like kind of taught me how we have to take advantage and be more effective with our time management.
Yes, sir. What do you think, being part of the Max basketball program, the YU Max, how do you think it has impacted you as being a Jew?
I think what it really did is help me understand how much, I wouldn't say power, but I would say how much support and how people look at us in games or whatever we do, people always look at us. So I think it helped me understand how important it is to represent ourselves as good people, great people, with our positive, smiling, and I think it really helped me and us in general be more responsible for our actions.
100%. Because I was also going to ask, like, by being on the team, we're role models for the Jewish people.
Yes.
Especially last year, we went to Israel on a solidarity trip, and we played a game, and we're role models for the Jewish people. What do you think that, obviously, like you just said, but by being that role model, do you think that it holds you on a higher standard? Do you think you're always aware of it when you're on the court of, like, I am a role model for the Jewish people, and I got to be careful how I act?
And definitely is like a mindset or like something in my mind that I think sometimes about our role model. Like whatever we win the game or lose the game, we have to show love for the fans or for the people who are out there, and we always gotta, act properly.
When you think about the future, maybe talk about your future, about what you want to do after YU, how much time first you have left in YU, what you want to do afterwards, and being the person that you've changed as a Jew and how much you've grown, not really changed, but how much you've really grown on being a Jew, I guess the way you change as change is not a real word, but the way you've grown in Judaism, about your future. What do you want to take from what you've grown here into your future, and what lessons, that's in the Jewish part, but also the basketball side, like what lessons are you going to take from the court into your life, and what do you want to do when you're out of here?
So what I want to do when I'm out of here is probably I do want to play professional basketball, whatever that might be, whatever place. I'll be very happy to be there, and the lessons that I will take will probably be always be positive. Definitely always be positive. Whatever situation happens, you always got to be positive, and you got to be consistent. And especially when you have the practices in the morning, it's very tough to come every day to practice and be determined. But you have a group of guys that are all doing the same thing, so we have to stay locked in.
100%.
Yeah.
I'll ask you a question. It's not a question I really mean, as somebody asked this to me once when I spoke at a camp in the summer. But the question would be, is if you were to go back, and I'll share my answer afterwards, if you were to go back to the beginning of YU, maybe you have regrets, whatever you did since you've been here. Maybe there was something, maybe there wasn't something. But what would you say to yourself if you were coming into YU right now? You know, like what would you change, or what were things that you think you would be looking forward to?
So I do not think I would change anything because I think it's all part of the journey. Whatever happens, you can't have regrets. You can't have like, oh, I should have done this, should have done that. But I do think that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We all have to do one thing, and it's just supposed to be this way.
100%.
Where we're going through life.
So the way I answered it in a camp was I said, someone asked me what's my biggest regret in life. And I said, like, whatever I'm about to say, I don't actually mean it. I was like, but I'll say it. I was like, I wish I learned more in my childhood, learned more Torah. And I said, I don't believe it, because I would not have the passion that I do now, and I would not have the love and the simcha and the joy for it as much as I have now if maybe I did learn every single day and I learned as much as maybe people expected for certain kids in the community that I lived in. And I said, to be honest, like, I am the person that I am because I didn't do that much and I didn't learn that much when I was a child. But yes, if I could go back, I wish I did. But at the same time, I don't have any regrets, because exactly like you said, every single thing that you do is really one step closer to making you become who you become and who you are. I guess when you leave YU, what do you think is like the way you'll define that you had a successful 4 years being here?
You're saying like on the court or off the court?
Both.
Okay,
Life,
so on the court, we got to
everything.
win a championship. That's
Yes, sir.
number one goal. I've been having dreams about it. We got to get it. Like, we just have to do it. Yeah. Then off the court, I think is just continue my journey and become more Jewish, whatever that might be, whatever journey, takes me. But staying connected for sure. And maybe still learning with this guy.
Yes, sir. To bring that to that, let's talk about what we've been doing. So ever since we learned on that bus ride, I decided, let's see, maybe this guy might shut me down, but let me go for it. I said, Roy, you want to learn a Hebrew Sefer together? You'll help me. I'll help you. We'll go together. But really, I'm helping myself because I need to learn, and I want to know Hebrew, and I want to learn a Hebrew Sefer. And Roy said, let's go. Let's do it. And I think what was very impactful to me is that the amount of stuff that we've been able to learn together. We've been doing it on bus rides to games. We've been doing it early mornings, late nights. We have about, Mitzvah Shem, 50 pages left to Olam Amidos. Let's go. Press the thing.
I don't know, where is it?
This one. Yes, sir. So, Lamaisa.
Okay.
Either way, having some fun. Either way, we've been learning Olam Hamidos from Rav Kestenbaum, which is a Hebrew Sefer and an English Sefer. But we've been doing the Hebrew Sefer, and we've been doing it for the last 2.5 years, and we have about 50 pages left. So Mitzvah Hashem will make a big CM after that. It's exciting stuff. But it's just awesome the way that, like, some days I won't text you and you're like, come on, Zev, like, what's wrong with you? Like, why aren't we doing? We got to get back on schedule. And sometimes you'll slack off, and I'll just be like, or like, we got to get back on schedule. It's most of the time me slacking off because you're always ready to go.
No, but okay.
It's always me ready to go. But let's talk a little bit more than that. As like, what do you think you would say that you've done? I mean, I know, like, you've been keeping kosher. Maybe talk about the journey of that, of when that happened and what that means to you and why you did it. And then from there, we'll talk about a few different things that you've done.
So in YU is a lot easier to keep kosher. You have all these restaurants, you have this, the calf, all this stuff. But outside is much more difficult. But I do have, thank God, I have a lot of friends that are the same as me. So we're like you're like buying from the same place, cooking from, so that's easier part, but it's always tougher when you're like on the road and things like that, and you have to make that sacrifice to choose kosher.
And it costs more money.
It does cost more bread.
It's a lot of respect to you.
Yeah.
And maybe walk us through a little bit, like, before you came here, what Shabbos meant to you and what Shabbos means to you now.
Before coming here, I had no clue what Shabbat is about. I really didn't know anything. I just knew, like, it's time for family. That's the only thing I knew. But now I kind of know it's like time for relax, and I think it's great time to spend with family, friends, or if you want to go to the shul. I think it's a great time for spirituality and kiddush.
Great food.
Yeah,
It's
great
all,
food.
all about great food.
All about, yeah.
All
All
right, so
about
let's
that.
let's go all the way back to freshman year.
Yeah.
I remember as we began learning, maybe walk us through the tefillin story
Oh,
of how all that happened.
tefillin story. So I told Zevi that I did not have a tefillin, or I think I had one, I lost it. I don't know the whole idea with my tefillin, but I knew I didn't have one. And then I was speaking to Zev, and
You
I
know
was
what
like,
you said before that? You said, I'll get it from Israel. I'll get it when
I
I
was
go.
like,
I'll
you
get
know,
it."
I'll try to find it. And then I was speaking to my parents, didn't get that much answers. So I was like, you know what? And then Zevi, I was asking Zevi, like, oh, like, what should I do? And then he was like, okay, like, don't worry about it. Like, I'll try to figure it out. And then he already had a plan. He had a plan what he's going to do. And he didn't tell me at all. And then he ended up finding tefillin for me from Tefillin Project. And I remember he was like he got it for me. And then he like surprised me, like told me. So I thought we were learning that day. And he was like, yo, come to Reuben Shul, which is on our campus. And then he's like, okay, go come at like this and this time. I'm like, okay. And then I go in, I see my whole team is there with, all wearing shirts, the whatever Tefillin Project, and then get my tefillin. And then we have like a mesiba, pizza, great time. And it was amazing for what Zev did and what Tefillin Project did to help. And it was just amazing because ever since then I've been rapping, Here and there I miss some days, but I try my best not to. But yeah.
I'll give you the vort, the Torah message my rabbi once gave me in Yeshiva. He said there's something called an EKG. An EKG is the thing in the hospital that shows if a person's heart rate, if he's alive or dead. And if it's flat, that means a person's dead, chas v'shalom. But if it's going up and down, that means he's alive, and that's part of life. Up and down, you grow and you bounce back. You fall, you bounce back up. And he said, like, if you stay the same, you're like flatlined, you're dead. But if you're always going up and down, and you go up in Judaism and Yiddishkeit and Ruchnias and spirituality, and then you go down sometimes, as long as you're going up and down and trying to keep going up, it's okay if you fall down sometimes. And I think that for you, the way you've been putting on tefillin is like every day it means something to you. You come every day now, and we have our shachris, and you do that.
Yes, sir.
At the same time, like if you have some times where you fall, like I remember you literally came over to me last night and said, Zevi, I forgot my tefillin today. And the first thing I said to you was like, it's okay, you bounce back. It's part of the journey. It's not about the sprint, it's about the marathon. The goal is to just keep building and stacking days and trying your best.
Stacking days.
100%.
Exactly.
What do you think is like one lesson from either a coach, a teammate, a teacher that someone said to you, or a line or a story, or whatever it might have been, a conversation that someone said to you that stuck with you for till now?
Wow. One lesson. I would have to say I'm going to say one thing that we learned from Olam Midot, something that we learned. I think we always discuss it because it's always like, the big part of it is always try to show show respect, even when even if you're mad, even if something happens, bad things happened, whatever that might be, you always got to be with like a positive and respectful attitude, I guess.
It's huge.
Yeah.
You live like that.
Yeah.
That's the way you live your life.
And I really try my best. Sometimes I get upset and things like that happen, but I try to always keep composure. And I think it helped me for the person that I'm becoming, and definitely going to help me in the future later on.
That's huge. That's huge. How do you hope to be remembered when you leave YU, both on the basketball and both of like as a Jew to the Jewish community?
As a basketball player, I want to be a winner who got to win the championship. But I like to be remembered as a player who does everything. Defense, offense, move the ball, give this guy open shots for three. I like to do everything.
And if you were to give a message to people watching,
Yeah.
we'll give a few different scenarios. Either a person loves basketball and he wants to join the YU basketball team. What advice would you say to that? And what do you advise to say to anyone that's listening, whether religious Jews, not religious Jews, adults, parents, children? Something about your journey is something that you can inspire them with, and something that everyone can do themselves to grow as a Jew and as a person themselves.
So I'll say the Jewish first. So I hope I'm inspiring you by, not coming from that Jewish of a background. So I hope I'm inspiring you to work harder and, learn more or do whatever that might, help you grow, on both sides. Because, I didn't come from that place. So it's not given to me that I'm going to wrap tefillin almost every day or keep kosher. So if I could do it, you definitely are, be able to do it. Even in tough times and especially now, you could do it to help us and help yourself.
Yes, sir. I think, which is now the best part of this whole interview, podcast, schmooze, really just a chill, is now I get to talk about the lens of how I seen, and of course I covered a lot of it, but I want to just talk about a little bit more about how I've seen your growth and how I feel like it can inspire other people. I think for me, to see someone like you, like I'll give you an awesome, void, as I shared with the whole team on Friday after Shacharis, but someone once went to the Lubavitcher Rebbe and said to him, he said, can you give me a bracha to do kiruv? And what he said, what is kiruv? The guy said the kiruv is bringing other people closer to God. Okay, so the rabbi goes, I'm not going to give you a bracha on kiruv because who are you and I to decide who is closer to God? We have no idea who's closer to God. We can't measure. He said, I'll give you a bracha to love your friend like you love yourself. And that message stuck with me a lot is because me being on the team and me being, I guess, the spiritual kind of leader, I really just look at it as I'm a Jew and you're a Jew. How am I able to decide who gets more reward in the next world, who's more religious? I say this to you all the time. Like when you come to me and you say like, yo, Zevi, I didn't put on tefillin today, I look at you and I say, I'm jealous of you. Because for me, Baruch Hashem, I haven't missed a day of tefillin since my bar mitzvah. And for me, it's easy. I go every single day. I put on tefillin, no problem. And for you, it's difficult sometimes. And sometimes you love it. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes we don't have school and you don't have to do it for attendance and it's hard. And yet you go, you're going to try your best. And if you don't, like I look at it as like, I don't have a struggle like that. And we know in concept of Judaism, it's like whatever is harder for a person is who gets more reward. It's not based on what you do every single day, the same amount. Yes, obviously everything is important. But the message that I've seen tremendously from you, and I've grown a lot from you watching your growth, is more about like, there's no such concept of someone's better than somebody else. And all you're going to do is just try to be the best version of yourself and to just continue to stack days, whether that means you're going to try your best to keep kosher in tough situations, or you're going to go to NYU Chabad to keep Shabbat and to have the Shabbat meal and do all those kind of stuff at the same time. Like you go and put on tefillin and you do brachos and you know how to daven by yourself. Like guys coming from your background do not know how to daven by yourselves, but yet you come every single davening and you lead a lot of the paragraphs and, get involved. And
Lenu leshabeach.
what else you know? Hayom Yom.
Hayom Yom Shlishi b'Shabbat.
The whole thing and, just kadosh, kadosh, kadosh.
Kadosh,
And
kadosh, kadosh.
it's just like an awesome vibe just to see you being like, I'm a man on my own mission.
Yeah.
Just trying to be the best version of myself and the best person I could be at the same time, to be the best Eved Hashem that you could be and to serve God. I think also for me, like to see that like sometimes like I ask you some questions, like I try to like turn it up a notch and say, Roy, like, why don't you do this and do that? And like sometimes you come to me and say, you know what, like I'm not ready for that. And sometimes you come like, honestly, yeah, I'll do that. And I think the relationship that we built, that like I never force anything upon you and yet everything comes from you at the same time.
Yeah.
You're able to give me feedback if it's too much, or you're able to give me feedback if it's not enough and you want to take some more. But just to see that you're always willing and have a desire to grow in every aspect, whether it's on the court, off the court, in Judaism and basketball, everything that you do is just, how can I be a better person on the court? How can I be a better teammate? Every practice we're talking, what am I doing bad? I want to be better. I want to be better. And just, making all the people around you. And I think that the reason why it inspires me so much is because when you do things that are real and authentic, you don't have to say a word. People see that straight and they see it right and they see that and that's what they look up to. If you were a person that came every day and you were faking it, and like people could see right through that, And I think that especially you being here for 2 years, And now all the new guys coming on the team, they see a guy like you who came from a similar background as we have like 7 Israelis who come from not religious backgrounds. They see a guy like you, they're like, oh, wow, like Roy did it. Like, oh, let me find out about why he did such a thing. And it's really, really inspiring to me.
Actually, I want to add something to it, to what you said. So I do think that if you could do something to become better, why not? Why not try it? If, you know, you can try it, and then what's the worst that's going to happen? You're not going to like it, so you just don't do it. But I started doing it, you know, and I enjoyed it, and that's why I continue to grow, you know. And whatever challenge, I also take it as like a, you know, a great challenge. I like to take challenges myself. Like whatever situation happens, I always think about it as a challenge. So I think it's like great to challenge yourself and push yourself to work harder in whatever situation that is. And if you could take that challenge and you continue to grow, it just more benefits to you.
100%. So for everyone listening, obviously stay tuned for what we got next. We have a big Siyam coming up in Mirza Hashem soon. We have a championship that we got to win in about a month from now. Exciting stuff. And Roy, it's been a pleasure. And Yasher Koyach. Good stuff.
Okay, my name is Joel Weinstein, also known as the team manager. I'm a behind the scenes, beyond the court worker. And Roy, I have some questions for you. Okay, so I want to know what beyond the court really means to you and how it's impacted your life in YU and as a Jew as a whole.
So beyond the court really inspired me to, you know, to take it beyond the court. Like we were doing shachrit every morning, having breakfast after, and I think it really inspired me to, you know, to be more connected spiritually and grow my Jewish identity with the rest of the team, with people like you, with everyone that's out there to support us.
So now another question to get deeper into it. So as you know, as we know, ZEVI SAMET is really the face of Beyond the Court. So I want to know how because I know you guys learn outside of all this Beyond the Court stuff, you guys actually have a Chavrusa. So I want to know how he's really impacted you and what he's done for your Judaism.
So ZEVI's been really helping me and have helped me grow spiritually and helped me kind of direct my steps of what things you know, are available and what things he's offering me that, oh, you can do this, you can try rap and fill in every day. And then he offered me all these things, and I chose to do that. And so he kind of really, you know, kind of be my kind of like spiritual leader, I would say, helping me kind of direct through my options and what I could do to grow my Jewish identity.
That's amazing. Yeah, he's definitely a good figurehead for all of us, and everyone needs one. I should have another question. Could you like pinpoint, obviously there's a lot of things that happened over your last 2-3 years of YU, but I'm curious if you can pinpoint one kind of thing through basketball or through whatever you've done with ZEVI that's really been like standing out. This helped me in my Judaism. Like this really kind of started my journey.
So what really helped me, I think it's learning with Zev, that I learn with Zev almost every day. And it really helped me kind of get that like mindset of becoming a better person every day. And it really, you know, it's challenging, but I think it's something that could help any of us.
It's amazing. It's definitely true as well. Well,
but can I be a little mean?
Yeah. Oh no. Okay. Go for it.
Okay, so now I'm gonna ask the questions, and I have a few questions for you. What was that all? You know, we've been on the rise, and then this guy hasn't been here. You know, it's kind of like what's that about? You know, we need some support, and our support is not there.
Roy, you always just ask the best questions. You really do. So it's a good question. Listen, every man is only as good as he can be until he can't be that anymore. And I need a break. And I felt like Asia was calling my name.
Asia was calling your name.
And I just had to go. And I went to Asia for 3 weeks, and I watched every game. Now I can say that someone has watched YU basketball in South Korea. Someone has watched YU basketball in Vietnam. Someone has watched YU basketball in Thailand. And someone's watched YU basketball on a mountaintop in Bali. So wasn't able to be said before, and now it's able to be said. And I'm happy that I was able to orchestrate that and really be a big part of that. Well, the only part of that. And yeah, now I'm back. We play Farmingdale tomorrow. So I don't know when this comes out, but Farmingdale is tomorrow. Back just in time to watch us start beating our rivals, and then we have nice playoffs coming up, and we're gonna run away with it. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Now I have another question. What is the whole like deal with your suits? Why do you pick those specific colors, and what is the meaning behind them?
That's actually also a good question. The meaning behind each suit is different. So it goes deeper.
I want you. Yeah,
it goes deep. No, the suits are definitely deeper than you guys think. So obviously, I have a white one, a pink one. I actually just got 2 more in Vietnam. That stay tuned, you'll see them. Hopefully, at some point, once we make a run, and I gotta have a suit for every single game, especially in March. Those will be good. But yeah, they each have a deeper meaning. They're longer stories. We don't have time in the podcast, but definitely have meaning. The pink one, for example, was a good friend wedding. He actually got called up to serve in the Israeli army, right? They needed help. He was there, so he had to push up his wedding date by 2 months.
Wow.
I actually had the suit for his wedding, request by him, and then I actually couldn't make it because he got pushed up 2 months. And
wow.
Yeah.
So you ended up getting the suit, and then we're to our game, and then...
And that's it. Now it is a YU basketball suit. Got use out of it, and that's the only time I wear it now. Because when are you ever going to wear a pink suit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the rest, I guess you'll find out. Yeah.
Also, I have another question. What made you... I want you... Actually, yeah. Okay, so how did you become the YU manager?
So, Roy, you actually know how I became the YU manager. This might have to be like an exclusive one. Well, you see, actually, before I met any of the players or anyone, even before I stepped foot in YU for the first time, I met the wonderful Elliot Steinmetz, Coach Elliot Steinmetz, in Memphis, Tennessee, my hometown. And I was actually there with some of YU legends, like Gabe Leifer,
Mr. Zucker,
Matan Zucker, of course, Ofek Reef. And it was a great time, but as you guys know, there's not much there's not much to really do in Memphis besides for drinking. So let's just say what? Oh, I was 22. I was 21. I was 21. Yeah. Right before I started YU. And yeah, so let's just say that the drinks started flowing, conversations started flowing, the adventure started flowing. Me, Matan Zucker, Gabe Leifer, and Elliot Steinmetz went on an adventure that evening, and Elliot after was like, "You got to become manager." I was like, "I don't want to wash laundry." But Matan spoke to me about it. I was like, "You really don't have to wash laundry. Like, it's a good time. You'll chill with the boys. Like, hey, we need a manager." And I was like, "I'm ready. I'll do it."
So you're saying Matan was the mind?
Matan was everything. Yeah, I owe him everything that has come to me from YU basketball all goes to Matan. He really forced me, like commits me rather to.
What do you think about Matan as a person?
Matan's
a special individual.
He's definitely a special individual. Like, you can tell on the court, he's really got heart, and he really goes throughout his whole life with that heart also. And he's in Israel right now, steiging.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just has a massive heart, and he's a great guy. And he's also hilarious. So like, any moment you get with him, you gotta
ask about off the court experience with Matan.
Honestly, nothing like a good sauna chill with Matan. A couple brewskis in the sauna really never hurt anybody. Obviously not the YU sauna, but the other saunas that aren't YU saunas. Brewski and sauna chills with Matan are probably top tier for sure. Would you rather? All that.
Would you rather?
We won't talk about any of those here.
We won't talk about it.
All right. Any more questions, Roy?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you.